As the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris are closing in, for us basketball enthusiasts, we are preparing to watch our country's men and women teams duke it out for the gold, silver, or bronze medals. Basketball, a sport with a global following, is governed by different sets of rules depending on the competition. Two major forms of basketball are Olympic basketball, regulated by the International Basketball Federation, FIBA, and the National Basketball Association, NBA, which has its own set of rules. While the essence of the game remains the same, the differences between these two sets of rules influence the style of play, strategy, and how players adapt. This comprehensive comparison will explore the key differences between Olympic and NBA basketball rules and how these impact the game. But first, if you enjoy NBA breakdowns and analysis, then hit that like button like the GOAT used to hit buzzer beaters. On the road to 2,000 subs, we can't do it without you guys. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into these rules. The NBA court is larger, measuring 94 feet by 50 feet. The court dimensions are slightly smaller, at 91.9 feet by 49.2 feet. The three-point line is 23.75 feet from the basket at the top of the key and 22 feet in the corners. The three-point line is 22.15 feet from the basket, forming a uniform arc. The key paint is 16 feet wide. The key is narrower at 11.8 feet wide. The smaller FIBA court and slimmer paint lead to a more congested playing area, promoting faster ball movement and more perimeter shooting. In contrast, the larger NBA court allows for more spacing and isolation plays, which suits the individualistic and athletic style prevalent in the NBA. NBA games consist of 4 quarters, each lasting 12 minutes, totaling 48 minutes. Olympic games have 4 quarters of 10 minutes each, making a total of 40 minutes. Teams are allowed 7 timeouts per game, with each timeout lasting 75 seconds. There are also mandatory TV timeouts in each quarter. Teams have 5 timeouts per game, with 2 allowed in the first half and 3 in the second half. Each timeout is 60 seconds and there are no mandatory TV timeouts. A shorter game duration in FIBA competitions demands a more urgent and intense style of play, with less time for strategic adjustments through timeouts. This often results in a more continuous flow of the game compared to the NBA, where the longer game and more frequent timeouts allow for more in-depth strategic planning and adjustments. A player is disqualified after committing 6 personal fouls. A player fouls out after 5 personal fouls. Teams enter the bonus and award free throws after the opposing team commits 5 team fouls in a quarter. Teams enter the bonus and award free throws after the opposing team commits 4 team fouls in a quarter. The difference in the number of personal fouls before a player is disqualified affects player aggressiveness and defensive strategies. NBA players can afford to be slightly more aggressive given the extra foul allowed. The quicker entry into the bonus in FIBA games means teams must be more cautious with their fouls, particularly in the latter stages of each quarter. Goaltending is called if a player touches the ball on its downward trajectory toward the basket, or if it is on or above the rim. Similar goaltending rules apply, but once the ball hits the rim, any player can touch it, either offensively or defensively. Basket interference is called if a player touches the ball or basket while the ball is on or within the cylinder above the rim. Players can play the ball after it hits the rim, leading to more opportunities for tip-ins and defensive swats. The FIBA rule allowing players to play the ball off the rim creates a dynamic around the basket that doesn't exist in the NBA. This can lead to more second chance points and defensive plays right at the rim, influencing rebounding strategies and the importance of athleticism in these situations. The shot clock is 24 seconds with a 14-second reset for offensive rebounds. The shot clock is also 24 seconds, but the reset is 14 seconds after an offensive rebound, so basically the same. The NBA uses a jump ball to determine possession at the start of the game and any held ball situations. FIBA uses an alternating possession arrow after the initial jump ball to start the game. The similarity in the shot clock rules maintains a fast pace in both leagues. However, the use of the possession arrow in FIBA competition simplifies held ball situations, but can affect strategy planning around jump balls. Zone defenses are allowed, but defensive 3-second Violations are called if a player stays in the key without actively guarding an opponent for 3 seconds. Zone defenses are allowed without any restrictions, similar to the NBA's defensive 3-second rule. Hand checking is strictly regulated, with defenders not allowed to place their hands on an opponent to impede their progress. Hand checking rules are more lenient, allowing for more physical play on the perimeter. The stricter regulations on zone defenses and hand checking in the NBA promote a faster, more open style of play, emphasizing individual offensive skills. In contrast, the allowance of more physical play and unrestricted zones in FIBA competitions leads to a greater emphasis on team defense and physicality. Technical fouls result in 1 free throw for the opposing team. Technical fouls also result in 1 free throw, but a player committing the foul does not accumulate personal fouls. Flagrant fouls are categorized into 2 types: Flagrant 1, unnecessary contact, and Flagrant 2, excessive contact, with the latter resulting in an ejection. Flagrant fouls are called unsportsmanlike fouls, leading to 2 free throws in possession of the ball. 2 unsportsmanlike fouls lead to ejection. The categorization of flagrant fouls in NBA introduces a tiered approach to handling excessive physicality, potentially reducing overly aggressive plays. FIBA's approach to unsportsmanlike fouls promotes fair play but can result in quicker ejections, affecting team strategies and player behavior. NBA players transitioning to Olympic play must adapt to the differences in court size, defensive rules, and game pace. Smaller court and narrower key in FIBA play require adjustments in spacing and movement, often resulting in quicker ball rotations and more perimeter shots. Additionally, players must adjust to the more physical style allowed in FIBA competitions, particularly regarding hand checking and zone defenses. Olympic players moving to the NBA need to adapt to the longer game duration, more frequent timeouts, and stricter defensive regulations. A larger NBA court provides more space for isolation plays and individual offensive maneuvers, which can be a significant shift for players used to the more team-oriented style of FIBA basketball. Dirk Nowitzki, a European player who transitioned to the NBA, had to adjust from the team-oriented and physical style of European basketball to the more individualistic and athletic NBA. His success in the NBA, becoming one of the greatest power forwards, showcases his ability to adapt to the different court dimensions, defensive rules, and style of play. LeBron James, an NBA superstar, has represented the U.S. in multiple Olympic Games. His adaptation to the more physical and team-oriented style of FIBA play, while still utilizing his individual talents, has contributed to his success in international competitions. Luka Doncic, a Slovenian player who excelled in both European leagues and the NBA, highlights the adaptability required for players transitioning between these 2 styles of play. His ability to thrive in both the team-oriented European style and the individualistic NBA showcases his versatility and understanding of the different rules and strategies. While Olympic basketball and the NBA share the fundamental aspects of the game, the differences in rules and court dimensions significantly impact the style of play and player adaptation. Olympic basketball, governed by FIBA rules, emphasizes team-oriented play, physical defense, and quick ball movement, while the NBA highlights individual talent, athleticism, and strategic depth. Players transitioning between these 2 forms of basketball must adjust to these differences, showcasing their versatility and understanding of the game. Ultimately, these variations enrich the sport, providing diverse experiences for players and fans alike. I hope you learned something and enjoyed. Please like and subscribe to the channel if this is your first time, or even if you frequent the channel. Thank you, and be back soon with more content.